Did you know that Washington State is home to the most prominent mountain in all of the contiguous United States? This is Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier is a 14,411-foot active stratovolcano in the Cascade Range located about 60 miles southeast of Seattle. This height makes Mount Rainier the highest point in the state of Washington, the highest volcano in all of the Cascade Volcanic Arc, and the fifth highest mountain in all of the contiguous United States. But even more impressive than its height is Mount Rainier's prominence. With a topographic prominence of 13,246 feet, Mount Rainier is by far the most prominent mountain in all of the contiguous United States. In fact, of the 8 most prominent mountains in all of the United States, Rainier is the only one not located in Alaska or Hawaii, and it is more than 3,000 feet more prominent than Mount Whitney, the second most prominent mountain in the contiguous U.S. Rainier is actually even more prominent than K2, the second highest mountain in the entire world. Now, because it is so prominent, Mount Rainier dominates the southeast horizon of the Seattle metro area, and on exceptionally clear days, it can even be seen as far away as Corvallis, Oregon to the south, and Victoria, British Columbia to the north. This map shows Mount Rainier's impressive viewshed, or every point from which you can see the mountain. But while Mount Rainier is exceptionally impressive and beautiful, it also has the potential to be incredibly dangerous. It is even considered a decade volcano, which means that scientists have identified it as one of the 16 most potentially dangerous volcanoes in the entire world. Scientists believe that if Mount Rainier were to erupt, that the impacts would be much more catastrophic than even the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption for 2 primary reasons. 1, the area surrounding Mount Rainier is much more populated, and 2, Mount Rainier is actually almost twice the size of Mount St. Helens. Now, while a potential eruption itself would likely be fatal to those in the immediate vicinity of Mount Rainier, the largest threat to people and property would actually be something called lahars, or fast-moving mixtures of rock and water that would initiate following the melting of ice. This picture shows the scale of a massive lahar that occurred following the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption. And this map shows the areas that are most likely to be impacted by lahars following a potential Mount Rainier eruption. In fact, scientists estimate that roughly 150,000 people currently live on top of lahar deposits from previous Mount Rainier eruptions. But while this all sounds scary, it's important to note that Mount Rainier is heavily and continuously monitored by a number of organizations, and we would likely see warning signs days or even months prior to an eruption. And besides, what may happen in the future shouldn't